In this video, I'll show you how to use AI to create real slow motion and turn your footage into high frame rate clips. We'll test different models, different settings, and see what actually works. Before we dive in, make sure to hit that subscribe button so you don't miss more content like this. The first thing we'll do is prepare a few AI shots that we can later use as a base for slow motion. For this, I'll use my own prompt system that you can apply in ChatGPT. I highly recommend trying it. We want cinematic shots that focus on details and moments that will look good in slow motion. Alright, we get a list of prompts. Next, I'll generate the shots using Nano Banana 2. The first shot is a runner starting a sprint. Okay, let's generate a few more. Alright, we have a couple of them. I won't use all of them, but most should be usable, so we'll pick the best ones later. I'll also grab some footage from Artlist. I highly recommend using this library. As you can see, they have really good quality material. This is not sponsored, they don't pay me. I just wanted to mix AI shots with real footage to have a better range for testing slow motion. Alright, let's start with the basics. In Topaz Labs, you have access to several slow motion models. The main ones are Apollo and Kronos, both also available in fast versions, and there is also Ion. Kronos is a general purpose model for FPS interpolation. It works best for simple and predictable motion. It gives stable results with fewer artifacts, but struggles with chaotic scenes. Apollo is designed for more complex motion and slow motion. It works better for dynamic scenes like sports, people, or water. It handles heavy slow motion better than Kronos, but can introduce small artifacts. Ion is the most advanced model for extreme slow motion. It's built for large slowdowns and high detail footage. It gives the best quality, but takes longer to render. Each model also has important parameters: sensitivity, which controls motion detection between frames; scene detection, which detects scene changes and avoids interpolation between them; and motion deblur, which reduces motion blur and helps restore sharpness, especially in fast-moving scenes. The first shot we'll test is intentionally bad for slow motion, so we can see how the models behave. It's a shot of a boy running through a forest generated with AI. I expect problems, but let's try. First test, Apollo with 4x slow motion, without motion deblur. We won't use scene detection since we're working with single clips. It's heavy on the CPU, so keep that in mind. Without motion deblur, we get distortions and visible artifacts. Now here's the version with motion deblur enabled. It's much better. The image is sharper, there is still some blur, but overall it's improved. Finally, I tested Kronos. Instead of 4x slow motion, I set it to 120 FPS, because that's basically the only way to use Kronos properly. Native slow motion with Kronos in Topaz is just not good. Quick tip, if you have a 120 FPS clip in Premiere Pro, you can create slow motion by going to Modify, Interpret Footage, and then changing the frame rate to 30, 25, or 24 FPS. The next shot is better, a car driving through a forest at night. Still fast movement, still challenging. This one has more potential. The first shot wasn't really suited for slow motion, so the result makes sense. Here I'll show why I prefer high FPS instead of native slow motion. First version, Apollo fast with 4x slow motion. Second version, Apollo with 120 FPS. For me, no comparison. The high FPS version is much better. Here are a few more shots using Apollo at 120 FPS. For me, this is the best option right now. For the skiing shot, I tried the Ion model. The result is pretty good. The motion feels smoother, but there are some strange artifacts on the edges. I also tested slow motion on motion design, so 2D animation. As you can see, it works quite well. You can control the speed nicely. I didn't use motion deblur here. The footage was already sharp, and it's usually better to add motion blur after creating the slow motion. Another important feature is auto stabilization. I found a slightly shaky shot on Artlist to test it. We have a woman running with a loose handheld camera. Important setting, use full frame instead of auto crop, so you avoid weird scaling. First, I tried Apollo without stabilization. It looks okay, but let's compare. With stabilization, I'm actually happy. There are still some minor artifacts, but overall it looks smoother, almost like it was shot on a gimbal. Final comparison, Apollo versus Kronos at 120 FPS, using a dynamic American football scene. Kronos doesn't perform well. You can see strange artifacts, even though the motion itself is okay. Apollo, on the other hand, works really well. Smooth, stable slow motion without major issues. So what's the takeaway? If you want the best overall results right now, Apollo at high frame rate, like 120 frames per second, is the most reliable choice. Kronos is fine for simple interpolation, but struggles with real slow motion. Ion has potential for extreme cases, but it's slower and less consistent. So in most real-world scenarios, Apollo with high FPS gives you the best balance between quality, stability, and control. That's the setup I'd recommend using.